Good evening and welcome back to Sports Talk ATL. I am Chase Earl, joined by Alex. We got a great show. We're going to talk about the Braves trade chips. We got a left guard battle in training camp. We're going to talk about injury updates. Mac Jones is Calais Campbell's least favorite player. My buddy Mac Jones. I know Mac Jones. Not that well, but I know him. Poor guy. What's he doing? Talking to a Hall of Famer like that. We're going to talk all that, but we're going to start off with the Braves loss last night. One of the more frustrating nights. I'm not going to say, you can say one of the more frustrating losses, but I wouldn't say, you get dominated. It wasn't like you blew an 8-run lead. I hate that more. I'd rather just get blown out like last night. But the whole night was frustrating from start to finish. You start with an hour and a half rain delay. Maybe that threw Charlie Morton off. He has some of his worst start. The top of the first inning, I have no idea what the hell. I still don't know what was called. I will admit I wasn't paying so much attention. I was like, dude, what are they talking about? And then I go back and watch the replay and I'm like, what just happened? So that might have cost the Braves runs. Maybe that changes the course of the game. They don't score the rest of the game. One of the worst performances for the offense. Just a frustrating night. But Boston's a hot team. They've been playing well. Charlie Morton had one of his worst nights of the year. I think it was probably his worst. He walks 5, hits a batter, just had absolutely no control of his stuff. He wasn't necessarily hit hard. He just had no control of his stuff. But the thing I want to focus on is Charlie Morton. He was terrible last night. Everybody's going to have bad days. Every pitcher in the history of baseball has at least 5 or 6 of them, even if you're the best pitcher in baseball, every single season. Charlie Morton, I see people on Twitter, they just love to pile on this guy. Like anytime he has a bad start, it's like, oh, he's the most inconsistent. How can this guy be such a veteran and he's so inconsistent? Charlie Morton's been one of the most consistent pitchers in baseball. Yes, does he throw shutouts every time out? No, but nobody does. The last time this guy had an ERA above 4 was April 14th. Over his last 17 starts coming into last night. 3.26 ERA. Over his last 7 starts coming into last night. 2.45 ERA. Coming into last night, he had the 17th best ERA in all of baseball and was tied for second in wins. What in the hell are you talking about? Give me a break. If you say this to me again, I'm going to punch you in the face. I'm sick and tired of it. Okay, is he a number one? No, you're not paying him like a number one. If he was a number one, guess what he would have gotten? The Justin Verlander deal. Oh, by the way, Justin Verlander, ask the Mets if they would take Charlie Morton's production. Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer, who they're paying a combined $90 million, combined to almost equal Charlie Morton's WAR this year. Shut up. I get we all have to get something to complain about, but it's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. It is so mind-numbingly dumb that I'm tired of talking about it.
That's the problem, is there isn't anything else to complain about with this team. The Braves fans, they find every little thing that went wrong in one game, one outing, and they run with it. I had people tweeting at me because we've been on the same side of this with Charlie Morton. We didn't pay him $20 million to come in and be a number one this year. Coming into the year, we expected him to be a 3 at best, possibly even a 4 if, the younger arms stepped up. And injuries have thrust him into a more prominent role, and he's delivered. And some. Yeah. And the crazy thing is also, there's not a single pitcher. Spencer Strider, Max Fried, we all love. Everybody in Braves country loves them. They're 1A, 1B, Cy Young or aces. They're gonna get the ball every game 1, game 2 in any playoff situation. But there is pretty much nobody in the MLB with more playoff experience than Charlie Morton. We're talking about a July game in Boston right before the deadline. And again, another point that you made about the relief corps, that this could be seen as a positive. Maybe Alex Anthopoulos goes out there and shores up the starting rotation. So even outside of, this anomaly that's been a poor performance of Charlie Morton's entire career / this year, it could be seen as a positive. Maybe Alex Anthopoulos does go get a back end starter just in case, something goes awry in the postseason. It's just Braves fans being spoiled brats. I mean, we're all spoiled brats. I'm on the younger side of Braves fans. I literally have not gone through any stretches of bad play other than that, like mid 2010s when we were rebuilding. We've been spoiled pretty much my whole life, except for that little bit. And this is just more of the same where, it's just younger Braves fans tweeting me about how I've just been on Charlie Morton's side. And all of the peripherals show that he's a solid starter. Again, neither of us said he was an ace. Neither of us said he was a Cy Young candidate. But what he is solid and consistent and a valuable veteran presence in the locker room for a relatively young team, especially a young pitching staff, starting pitching rotation. I mean,
that's a great point that you bring up that I didn't even really think about because I'm so hung up on how stupid people are because he's been good. And I'll get to another point, but the veteran pitching staff and having him and mentor the young guys you can't put enough emphasis on that. And he loves being here. He's a great leader. Think about all the emphasis that is. He teaches the guy. You can talk to any starting pitcher in that clubhouse. They will say they've learned stuff from Charlie Morton. I can guarantee you that. So that's just another icing on the cake, aside from the fact that he's 100% worth $20 million. Listen, people get hung up and they keep talking about $20 million, $20 million, $20 million. $20 million is a lot of money for one season, right? It is. I think it's the 16th highest salary of any pitcher in baseball. But what they're missing the point is if you took, first of all, there's a lot of guys on rookie contracts and deals that can't get that kind of money. Max Fried can't get that kind of money.
Well, even then, 16th highest, and you said he had this, but coming into the last night, it was the 17th
but
highest.
You have to also think that a lot of these guys aren't even eligible for contracts. But then you also have to think that's AAV. If this was a 4-year, $80 million contract and this was the first year, maybe I would be like, okay, maybe this is something to work. I'd still be happy with the value because he's worth the $20 million, but I would be like, yeah, he's 39. Like we still have 4 years left of this. This isn't that good, blah, blah. Like maybe I'd have something to complain about. Like we got this guy for 3 more years. We're on the hook for this. Like what if this turns sour? This is a 1-year deal. If you went and took every player and just struck it out and like gave them $20 million, Charlie Morton would be one of the most productive players. Like Taijuan Walker got $75 million over 4 years. Taijuan Walker's a scrub. He might be having a decent year, but he's a scrub. Like he's not. Like you tell me you would rather have Taijuan Walker over. And then I went down the list. I mean, Max Scherzer $45 million. Charlie Morton's been better. Justin Verlander $42 million. Pretty much 14 of the guys, 13, 14 of the guys in front of him, he's been better than. And like, it's a 1-year deal. You're not on the hook. Like Garrett Cole has like a 10-year deal. Like it's just not the same. Like you have to put things in perspective. Cole Hamels, that's something you can complain about. We gave him $18 million to pitch 3 innings. Like that is a waste of money.
Yeah, let's just talk about the fact that the guy has pitched. How many starts does he have? How many innings does he have? When the rotation, everybody has been hurt. I mean, this Braves team has suffered as many, if not more, injuries to its pitching staff than any club in baseball. And we're complaining about Charlie Morton had a rough outing. This guy has been an Iron Man at 40 years old, coming off a broken leg. Like, let's keep it in perspective a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, that's all I can say. I can't like keep running on this tangent about it because it'll just get me more heated. I just like, if you think this stuff like,
what is the complaining even going to do? That's the thing. It's like, what is the complaining
getting? Just like when people complain and I like this is it. Like you complain because you have nothing else to complain about. And I just wish like, go be a fan of another team for a month. Go be a fan. Like you have no idea what it's like. Like, go be a Mets fan.
That's what I was saying. It's like
Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander have provided that team this year. Like, they're getting paid $90 million. You're getting more protection for $20 million out of that. Like, you're just so far and away off your rocker, like, in these things. And then you have a bunch of guys in front of Charlie Morton that are making more than him or just as much as him that are under contract for 4 or 5 years. And they're not producing anything. Like Carlos Rodon, what has he done for the Yankees? He just signed a 5-year, $150 million for 5 years? They're like, what the hell? Like, those are genuine things to complain about and worry about. Even if Charlie Morton was actually bad this year, even if, let's say he was as bad as last year, which he was still mediocre, even if he was actually bad this year, you're over. The contract's over after this year. It doesn't really matter. Like, you guys have no perspective on what actually is bad and what's not bad. We signed him at a bargain. He's produced correctly. I would love to have him back next year if he wants to pitch. And if you think otherwise, you're so stupid. I can't even argue with you. That's why I don't have to argue with you. Thank you for not arguing with me here, because if you're on here arguing with me, I might just implode. That's how passionate I am. Coming up after the break, we're going to talk about the left guard situation. Who's going to start week 1 for the Falcons?